Welcome to the Practice You podcast. My name is Elena Brower. Let's dive into today's conversation regarding life's myriad transitions and how we refine our responses in our relationships, our wellness, our households, our work, and in our practices. You are invited to learn and love and listen with me. Welcome to Practice You. Welcome back to the podcast. I have a new friend with me today. Her name is Ash Johns. She is a certified psycho-spiritual life coach. She is an ancestral healer. She is a conscious business strategist and founder of Ancestral Healing Space. She lives at the intersection of deep healing and practical strategy for freedom. I like this. I like this a lot. And I get approached a lot, Ash, by people with similar backgrounds, but not quite the same. And something about you spoke to me, and I don't know exactly why. And I'm sure I'm going to find out right now. But what I'd like to start with is, how'd you get here to this work? It is so extraordinary, the level of success that you've experienced. And I would like to know where it started.
First off, thank you for having me here. And hey, everybody who's listening.
Hi. Hi.
I often say that my whole life is what got me into this work, truly. And also it's following the breadcrumbs of your calling, what I've been interested in, the gifts that I came into this world with, and no longer ignoring them and deciding to pull them all together and offer them to the world. So it's simply by honoring and being myself that I got into this work. If I were to make that a little bit more tangible for anyone to relate to who's on their journey of becoming their best and most empowered self, doing the work that they're called to do in this world, I would say I was born very sensitive and being a spiritualist. I'm a triple Pisces, so I have access into the other realms. It's just my normal state. I had a past life in advertising and marketing. And so me being a consultant, a strategist really comes from that exiting ad agency world and deciding to take those skills to help other change makers and healers and coaches and incredible people on the planet. And then, you kind of can't do that without having some type of psychology background or a way to essentially help us connect our mind, body, and soul to embody who we truly are called to be. So this journey is me honoring these three paths and pulling them together in one space.
Thank you for that. What I find most interesting is that you, like a few friends that I know and trust, you literally created a career from nothing. You had an idea. You decided to pursue your own education and create a certain skill set. That skill set continues to evolve. You put it to work with your clients, people. You find facility in doing that. They find results in receiving the good work that you're doing. And suddenly it's an entire business. I know I have a listener who's listening right now who wants to understand how that happens and what it takes to do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's like a million different ways I could answer this question. But what first comes to mind is trusting yourself to take the leap. Like, I'll tell you guys right now, growing up being a super spiritual and sensitive kid where I would wake up with premonitions and information from my dreams and from my ancestors, and not ignoring them, like writing them down. I'm an 80s baby, so I wrote them down in my Lisa Frank journal, and I would share them with my mother, or I would tell the person in my family what I saw and what I felt and what I thought was going to come to be. And then when it came to be allowing myself to be validated in the gift that I carried. Like, that's one. Like, I could have ignored that and been like, oh, it's just a dream, or, oh, I'm just being weird, and denied the gift that I was carrying. But instead I leaned into it. And when I was sitting in ad agencies in both New York City and LA and Chicago, and even working in Vancouver, Canada, I knew that I loved understanding human behavior, and I love the idea of strategies that helped us connect and break through and sell or create a life that we wanted and needed. I just didn't enjoy doing it for global brands who really weren't helping the bottom line of a day-to-day person that I was connected to, the people I was meeting in focus groups and things. And so again, not ignoring that call that there was something more for me is really what allowed me to do all the things that you described, like bring these skill sets and build them into a business that's uniquely me. And a lot of times when people find me, that is why they're attracted to me. They're like, I don't know anyone who brings spirituality and business and embodiment and honoring your path and changing your identity and owning who you are. Like, no one's really put that together the way that you have, Ash. And also, how did ancestors come into all of that? And I'm just like, the more that I look at and work with people who are called to be change makers and have something that they're meant to birth and be in this lifetime, the only thing that's quote unquote holding you back is these patterns of behavior, these limiting ways of surviving that are no longer serving the identity that's wanting to be birthed through you in this lifetime. And so that's what brought me back to my spirituality and helping people access their ancestors for healing and freedom.
Thank you for that. My intent in bringing you on and starting this conversation was both to sort of demystify the process that you went through, following your heart, understanding what it was that you needed to do and figuring out how on earth to do it. But also, secondly, to normalize the conversation around our ancestors. It's a word that's tossed around a lot, and I think it's slightly overused, and I think it's slightly underappreciated and understood, if that's possible. I, at the tender young age of 52, have really started to connect with my ancestors, and I've started to understand that my mother, who passed away 7 or 8 years ago, that's actually my ancestor now. So connecting with her, which I do often, is also a connection with the ancestors. There's something that we need to kind of normalize about this conversation and make it so that it is as rich, layered, and deep as it should be, but also that it becomes a regular part of what we do in the morning, connect to the ancestors, ask for guidance, ask for help, whatever it is that's needed. I feel like that's really important right now.
Yeah. Thank you for expressing it in that way. And I just got to take a moment to say this is the reason why I was like a hell yes to come and be here with you, because the space that you hold and how you understand and how you articulate in your podcast and in your work is just so exquisite. And I'm just so excited that we get to have this conversation and that you have your own experience of understanding why this work is so important. So I just want to thank you and like honor you in that. Because I'm quite teary-eyed actually going into this. Yeah. So
Bless.
It's true. There's a saying that none of us have escaped our childhood without some form of a wounding, and, no one comes from a perfect home. And so because of these reasons, we often are hesitant or resistant to look at our family systems, to look at those who came before us, especially those who came before us who are no longer in body. And time again, I'm reminded and shown through my clients, through my life, and with the ancestors that we can't truly go forward and create what we want. We can't truly have reverence for life without honoring death and without going into the past. Like, these are not separate experiences. They are what create this human experience. And so, as we know, consciousness continues even after we're no longer in our bodies, and understanding how our ancestors not only have wisdom that can help us in our day-to-day lives, but also have unfinished business that they're holding in their energy field that's affecting us as being kin of an energy field that we call a family system. And being able to work with them to alleviate and transmute and alchemize that energy that's in our family system that allows us to then have greater energetic capacity, psychological capacity, physical capacity to be the people that we're called to be. And so I often, explain and teach people that there's layers to ancestral work, just like there is layers to any work that we do, whether that's your day-to-day job and you come in an entry level or, you're doing some personal growth work. But just having a reverence and knowing that those who came before you can support you in the life that you're in and appreciating how they lived, good, bad, and indifferent. And then knowing that the unfinished business that and what they believed and what they lived in during their life doesn't have to be passed down to you. It doesn't have to be unconsciously part of the existence that governs or sabotages your day-to-day life is very powerful work. Like, I'll say this last thing and kind of bring it to an end here because I could go on and on about how beautiful it is. But to me, this work is the ultimate self-mastery journey because knowing who your ancestors were and are allows you to truly embody your individuality and be sovereign in your choices to be the leader in your life and in your lineage. And so this work helps you be that ripple effect, be the marker in the lineage that broke a pattern and or brought forth a gift, a blessing, a wisdom that's been buried or hasn't been embodied as much as it could have been in previous generations. It's such an honor, and it's a true part, a moment of leadership, in my opinion.
Damn. There were three things that I flagged for myself in my brain. One is that this connection with the ancestors can actually grant us energy.
Yeah.
Wow. Just wow. It does. I'm living proof, walking proof of this. I don't know where some days the energy comes from that I can do 3 days of work in one day. And I'm not touting productivity. I'm just saying, like, there's some crazy energy here.
True.
The second is the breaking of the patterns and the bringing forth the blessings as I slap my leg. Wow. To look at what was and where that all started. I mean, I have Austria, Hungary, Russia, and Poland. 99% Eastern European Jew. Everybody was running.
Yeah.
When I look at that fact, my whole life, I feel like I'm running. Like I don't even know what from. But now at least I have some orientation as to what I'm running toward.
Right.
But the breaking of the pattern, Jesus. But tell me about your heritage, first of all, before I go on.
Oh, thank you. And there's a thing that I want to say before I share that. I love your example and that you've shared your background and having that insight of this pattern of running, of what happened with your people. And that's the medicine right there. Like when you make this unconscious thing or this factual thing, but we didn't understand how it was embodied in our energy field and our psyche and our beliefs and our behaviors. When you do that work yourself and with your ancestors and you really understand how it's metabolized into your existence, you now have made something unconscious fully conscious, and you get to become very powerful in that knowing and choose how to use it in an empowering way, and it no longer controlling or driving your life from a disempowered or like survivalist energy. And that just changes everything. It's why I say,
I feel that.
yeah, sometimes people ask me like, what's the first thing I can do to connect with my ancestors, or what's the ritual to do it? And I'm like, well, connecting with them in and of itself and going through this journey with them will tell you what the medicine is. It'll tell you the first step. Like just connect with them is the first step, because there is no ritual or prescription or just start here that we often do in the coaching world that will hit at the level of the root or the real wound or the real blessing with your answers. Like that's so unique and so bespoke and so entrained, I think I want to say, in your lineage that if I were to say, I've noticed what every woman I've worked with, their ancestors have said this, so you should try to do this too if you have this problem. It's not going to hit the same way. It's unique to you and your people. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And my background is first off, I am African American. And so my ancestral roots are West African. They are from Sierra Leone of the Mende and Limba tribe. I have ancestry in South Africa. I have ancestry in Tanzania and two other Bantu groups there. I have Dutch and English and Welsh ancestors, as well as Cree and Blackfoot Native American First Peoples ancestry. So I'm a bit of a mix, and that's not even talking about my spiritual ancestry, but from blood lineage, those are my people.
Dude, I'm just blown away that you are who you are, and it empowers the work that you're doing even more, that you have threads of all of these conversations
Yeah.
You're not just one thing.
Mm-mm. No.
It's very powerful. I'm a little speechless, which is rare.
Thank you for that. I really love that too, because I also often say this, and that is that this work is it's the most humbling and the most empowering, and it also brings forth courage and compassion for the human experience because it starts to dissolve all of these barriers that we have around race and socioeconomics and class and all these privileges and disadvantages and injustices, because you start to have dialogue directly with your people on why they did what they did or how they survived what they survived or what they want to atone for or what they want to be remembered for or what they want to cry about and then release and finally be done with it. And when you experience that with them and dialogue with them, it's like, oh, I'm no longer carrying this. Like, I remember
Right.
to take it to 2020 with all of the George Floyd movement and all the conversations we had and just the resurgence of like heaviness and grief. And I was looking at people, I was like, wow, we're not just crying for him and what happened. We're crying for a lot of people who did not, cry. And it was like a full global triage, essentially, of what has not been processed and what's also being perpetuated in a certain sense. And so this is the reason why, not just on a personal level, but on a collective level, why this work is so needed. Because a long, 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 long time ago, all of us and all of our respective lineages and ethnicities and nationalities, we used to have rituals for grieving and for honoring and rites of passage. Everyone did. And the fact that we no longer have that so much or is not expressed as much in our modernity is the reason why we have these stagnations and stuck energies and emotions that then continue to vibrate and rule our lives. I know sometimes when I describe it this way, we think that it's heavier, hard work. But when we connect with our ancestors, and I'd be curious if you experience this in your journey as well, it actually alleviates the work. Like, it makes everything so much lighter because you're not trying to process it through your own system by yourself and make sense of it through your own mind.
Yes. Couple things. I have a little secret to share. First is that I hadn't looked at your website until I have you on the line here. I like to just
Surprise.
Yeah, I like to just, it's not a surprise. I know what your work is, but instead of looking at the visual of it, I like to read about it. I have them send me an email about everything that you're doing, so I see it in print. I don't see the art of it. And going into your website, I want to encourage our listener right now to go into ashleyjohns.com. I'm going to spell it ASHLEYJOHNS.com. What a beautiful tribute to what you're talking about. It does so much a better job of explaining what it is that you do and the importance of what you do than your bio. I just cannot get over it. I'm looking at the third colorway on the site as you scroll down, our listener, where it says our lives are not only our own. We all have a process. We each have a path. We also have a belonging bigger than ourselves, as well as baggage that's more than our own. The support and resources you've been looking for to achieve a life of abundance and freedom have always been within you. Developing a healing connection with your ancestors is the key to unlocking them. This is a bold statement, okay? I couldn't agree more, but it's a bold statement. And for somebody who's never had this conversation ever before, you have an image of a Vesica Pisces that's drawn, illustrated. On the left in the circle, it says our healing. And on the right in the circle, overlapping obviously with the left, says our ancestors' healing. And in the center where the two circles overlap, ours and our ancestors' healing, you point to freedom, abundance, and cultural change. Wow. I mean, I think we could probably talk for 3 years about this. And I just want to point lastly, and I would love for you to talk about this a little bit, but you mentioned the word modernity, and I wonder, I'm almost done with a book called Hospicing Modernity by a woman by the name of Vanessa Machado de Oliveira. Hospicing Modernity. Vanessa Machado de Oliveira. Oliveira. Dude, the whole thing is this conversation around modernity where you said we have no rituals, we lost every single holy pause for any event. anything. Even giving birth is like up, in and out.
Right. Right.
Death, all right, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Like to honor these moments wherever you are is the way in, I think, to finding our way toward the ancestors and really carving a path that doesn't make you feel or sound like some woo-woo freakazoid, but in fact is something totally normal.
Totally. Completely normal.
I'm very interested in this.
I'm grateful and I'm so glad.
Yeah.
And thank you for describing my website in the way that you did. Like, I know what it looks like.
And your face. I can't handle your face. I
know.
cannot handle your face. You're so beautiful.
Thank you. Oh
my God.
For those of you who don't know what I look like, obviously, I will say I look like I'm 20 years younger than what I am.
You know what? You should be damn proud of that. How old are you?
I'm 36. Yeah.
Yeah, you look amazing. You do look like you're 16.
Yeah.
And you have my favorite feature, which is a little space between your two front teeth that I used to have, and then I chipped a tooth and I had to get rid of it. It was so sad for me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Whenever I go to the dentist, I'm sure you experience this. They're like, "Do you want to close it?" And
yeah.
like, no, I don't want to do that. So thank you.
No, I can't even. My dentist asked me for 10 years, and finally I was on a job and I chipped my front tooth, and he was like, "Well, now you don't have a choice."
Aww.
And I was like, oh God, really? Come on. I just got so boring.
Oh.
But anyway, you're so beautiful.
Thank you.
There is a facility to the work that you're offering, which I also want to talk about. The resources, the path that you offer to people, like to choose what path they're going with you, and a community sort of orientation. I would love for you to talk about the work that you offer so that our listener can orient themselves toward what's possible in getting to know you.
Yes, thank you. So, what we've got going on right now is we're opening a membership, actually, a membership where it's called Ancestral Healing Space. And we'll be journeying together each month to do ancestral healing and to teach you how to connect with your ancestors and how to work through remembering them, getting to know them, healing different things in your lineage that you see showing up in your life, bringing your desires and interests to them, and just ultimately learning how to get intimate with the people of your past. I'm really excited about it because originally it was called Healing is Happening, and we offered it back in like 2018 and 2019. And then we ended up turning Healing is Happening into a course. And so that course is still available. It's a 12-week course, and it has all of the details on how to do the work yourself. But what's so great about this new membership is that I'll be coming in to facilitate. I'm also training a group of people to do this work, and how it overlaps with personal development and self-mastery work, so you can truly embody the blessings of your people and the life that you're called to have. So if you're interested, definitely reach out, visit my website, get on the wait list for Ancestral Healing Space. I'll tell you, a lot of coaches or people who are trained in trauma, they're trauma-informed coaches, or dabble or work in the esoteric arts, whether you're a yoga teacher or Reiki master or energy alchemist. Sometimes they come and add this tool or this practice into their repertoire that they can offer their clients. So if you're interested in that, then definitely check out maybe becoming an ancestral freedom coach. Yeah.
Wow. That I actually really like. I'm sitting here thinking I have to join the membership just to like hear the conversation so that I can feel like I have a normal vibration happening in my body.
Oh, yeah. Everyone asks things like that. They're like, is this normal that my ancestors did this, or that I've dreamed about them in this way, or that I've now feel this way? And I'm like, yes, all of it is actually normal. There's nothing that I've experienced now, having worked with thousands of people from all different walks of life, literally from Southeast Asia, Australia, to now in the States, in Africa. Like I've worked with people from everywhere. And nothing surprises me at this point. And it's all so beautiful when I'm journeying with people or holding space and teaching groups or individuals. I always shed a tear because there's that experience of meeting your people and feeling how loved you are and how you are chosen to hold the space, and the role that you are holding in your life is just incredible. And the love that's flowing is just, I want everyone on the planet to remember that and experience it.
Thank you so much. You also have a podcast called It's Still Happening.
Yes. So it's still happening.
Tell us about this.
I'm really happy, which a shout out to the team, the Scout agency, who even got us together in this episode. Because as I've been going through this journey of this podcast tour and connecting with so many podcast hosts, it reinvigorated my love for speaking and having a podcast. So I'm really grateful that this is a full circle moment. So it's still happening, has been revived in the last month. We're on season 3. And I'll tell you guys right now, the journey is season 1 is really me speaking with ancestors and just delivering what was coming through with my own and for the collective. Season 2 is where I gave some structure and I'm kind of teaching what this means. And now season 3, it's a lot of storytelling from my own life, from situations I've seen over and over and over again, as well as the evolution of my work and my personal journey. So if any of those kind of experiences inspire you, definitely come and listen. It's a podcast that was inspired by the idea that this is still happening, whether it's considered a good thing or a bad thing. And I want to understand why. Why am I still showing up in these behaviors that I don't want to do? Or I'm becoming like my mother, and I said I would never do this like my mother. Also, I keep coming back to something that I've denied myself over and over and over again. It's more than just fear. Why am I not giving myself permission to be who I know I'm called to be? So that's what It's Still Happening is all about.
Beautiful. And finally, you actually have on your website, I want to encourage our listener to go check it out, a 7-day free program called Make Space. Can you teach us about that a little bit?
Yes, thank you. I deeply appreciate your invitations here. Can you tell I'm a projector in human design?
Yes, I can, actually.
So
I can.
Yeah, Make Space Challenge is a 7-day challenge. I originally ran it live as a small group experience in 2018 and 2019. And then people loved it so much that I was like, okay, I got to just make it evergreen so anyone can do it all the time. But it's essentially guiding you through a very simple, fun practice over 7 days of clearing spiritual, mental, and physical space to receive what you want. It's a great introduction to working with your ancestors to become more spiritually aware of what you desire and just clear out the fog that's preventing you from knowing that you can have anything and everything that you want in your life. So I've had over, I think, 1,000 people sign up for this and do it. It's something that people always opt into, and I'm grateful that my team has kept it up on the website because it's a lot of fun. So it's got great playlists that come along with it. So if you're interested in a fun challenge that you'll be surprised with a little bit of time for 7 days can do for you, this is definitely one to not miss out on.
Well, all I know is I just signed up, so I'll give you the full report. I'm so excited. Anything else that you would like to add for our listener? Something we perhaps haven't touched on?
Yeah, no, I just want to extend to your audience and everyone here with us. I'm grateful that you're here. I think sometimes when we're a listener and we're not necessarily in the position of the people who are speaking or sharing their gifts, that we think that this is a one-sided thing. But I'm imagining all of you and your walks in life and what your ancestors have to offer you. And I just put blessings and gratitude to you. I hope you're having a great day, that you feel love and compassion and the courage to really step into whatever is calling you to your highest good. Just be well today and share your light.
Oh my God. I just want to talk to you like once a week.
Thank you.
Oh, God. I think you can pretty much expect me in your membership. I cannot thank you enough, Ash, for the work that you've done, the courage that it definitely took to bring it forth. I want to thank all of your ancestors for all of their trials and tribulations that led to your existence. And I would also like to thank, indeed, Scouts Agency for putting us together. It's a very rare thing that we get to meet each other in this way, and I feel very connected and very much aligned with you and your work, and I'm really grateful to know you.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank you. I received that.